What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Daily Draft. We're drafting best ball teams 3 times a week here. Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon. We're drafting live best ball teams. My name's Kevin Allen, aka the Geek from DFS Army. And, this has been my goal in the offseason. We're going to keep on hammering out these drafts. And the goal is to take down one of these big contests on DraftKings. I've been working hard at it. No guest today because today I'm going to take a look at, aside from our draft, we're going to be taking a look at some rankings. I'm working on my full best ball rankings here at DFS Army, and you could check that out on dfsarmy.com if you're a NFL subscriber. You can also download the rankings and upload them directly to FanDuel or DraftKings. There's Ray. What's up, my man? Always can count on you to be maniacally drafting best ball teams throughout the offseason. And so the first thing I wanted to start with today, we've got the contest loaded up here, but I've noticed these contests start really quick. So I want to go over a couple of headlines here. It's Monday. We had a big weekend of NFL information. A couple of big things, like, of course, the George Pickens trade to Dallas. A massive boost to George Pickens' overall outlook with Dak Prescott versus, question mark quarterback of the Steelers. We don't even know who the quarterback is. Mason Rudolph? Is Aaron Rodgers going to join over there? We don't know. The other big piece of news over the weekend, the retirement announcement of Derek Carr. Now, I thought this was coming. I was expecting it. But it's now official. Derek Carr no longer destroying DFS lineups. For everybody who doesn't watch my breakdowns, because if you do, you never play Derek Carr. The guy hasn't produced a winning DFS score in his whole career, yet he was chalk. Well, we lose out on that cheat code of fading Derek Carr, and we have to see what the Saints are going to do. Now, remember my philosophy. We don't want running backs or really too many players at all off of terrible teams that can't score touchdowns. That might be what the Saints are this year. So we're going to be cautious around the Saints. They're talking about Spencer Rattler, the rattlesnake, a rookie, Tyler Shook as a competition at the quarterback position. That spells disaster. Now, that doesn't mean something else won't happen between now and kickoff. But as of right now, the Saints offense looks like a shit storm. Stay away. Staying away. We've got more news, though. Yeah, there it is. Got to win some of these to pay off the bills. I hear you. What's up, Soups? Soups trolling my these drafts in real time. I love it. And guys, if you want to draft along with me, load up that $3 contest. We're doing the play action so far on drafting. We'll move on to the Millie Maker, but we're doing the play action today. Remember, DraftKings is also giving away all kinds of free stuff when you're doing these. There's all kinds of promos happening now. So check out your promos page to see what's going on. But George Pickens, massive boost to Dallas, right? Derek Carr retirement, although I anticipated it, a big negative to me towards everything on the Saints offense, including Alvin Kamara, who I'm just not that high on. I mean, I get it. I get why you like him. I don't hate him, but I'm just not super high on it. Like I said, I'm going to call it neutral because he's just on a losing team, and I don't like that situation. Christian McCaffrey news. Offensive coordinator from Clay Kubiak is talking about a massive workload for Christian McCaffrey, that he's able to handle it. So, I guess we'll wait and see. I have a hard time trusting his health, but right now, that's what's going on. So we have to respect it. A couple other little news items here. Jaguars, not high on Travis Etienne, according to reports. The Jaguars' new regime is not high on him. He had some struggles in 2024. So we want to pay attention to who's not Travis Etienne on that team. Bajal, the rookie. And you got Tank Bigsby over there. So, I think we might get So I already love the Jaguars offense this year. Liam Cohen coming over there, going to transform it Tampa style, right? So everything looks pointed up. We saw Bucky Irving sort of emerge there. So we got to pay attention to that Jaguars running back situation. And if we can catch the right one in best ball, I think that will be a bargain. Again, Bajal Tootin, I believe, is the name of the rookie that they drafted in round 4. That's fine. Tank Bigsby's there. And maybe it's just going to be some horrible mix of Etienne and all of them. But we definitely want to pay attention to the running back situation in Jacksonville. Speaking of Jacksonville, Travis Hunter being hyped up as a potential top wide receiver. The coaching staff is really keeping him focused on the wide receiver position in minicamp, OTAs, all the stuff that's going on now. So the hype is he's going to basically be a wide receiver this year, which, of course, is great for his fantasy because that's all we care about. Interceptions, don't care. Don't care. Couple of other little tidbits. The main one is Tank Dell from Houston is not looking like he will be a player this year. It looks like he will be out for the entire season. There's a good chance of that. It's not confirmed. But if he is out, then you have to keep an eye on Jaden Higgins, Christian Kirk, and even Jalen Noel. And we're going to keep an eye on those guys. I think Jaden Higgins at this point is starting to become like one of the rookie wide receivers. He's a second-round pick. He's becoming one of those rookies that I'm excited about for this year, that I think there's some potential there. So that pretty much covers the news from the weekend. Again, it is fantasy football season. I mean, do you want to share the news that a bunch of my dynasty teams have completed some rookie drafts? So we're starting to get a sense of where those rookies are going in dynasty right now. I think there are going to be some risers. The aforementioned Basil Tutin, I hope I'm saying his name right, the Jaguars rookie, I think he's going to rise up. And there's another one, another running back that I'm getting kind of excited about from Dallas. It's Jaden Blue backing up Javonte Williams. I really want to get that Javonte Williams Blue combination on a lot of my best ball teams as well. Just give me the whole backfield. Let me lock it down. Let me lock it down for cheap. So that's what I think we're going to be able to do here. Other note, I've been working hard, like I said, on my best ball rankings on the dfsarmy.com website. It's right here under best ball rankings. When you have this, you can go and actually get a downloadable version for DraftKings or Underdog, whatever you want, to upload projections into the system. And, you know, I'm still working on these. These are the running back ones. I'm still working on them. For me, it's always a work in progress. The rankings throughout the offseason, they're going to adjust as news comes out, as, you know, just information comes out from each of these teams. But, you know, I have some controversial takes at the moment. Running back position, you know, again, based on my I don't like running backs from losing teams approach, I'm probably a little lower on some names than what the ADPs indicate. I think Jonathan Taylor, I might be a little lower on him, a little higher on Bucky and Chase Brown and some other names. So those will be updated. I'm certainly a lot higher on RJ Harvey and even the Dallas guys. So those will continue to update throughout the off season as well, but we're working on it. We're putting it together. We're getting ready, and we're trying to take down some tournaments. So we've had great guests for the last few episodes. We're rolling solo today, but we will continue the stream of sharp people helping us out as the off season continues, as we go through the summer months. Just drafting. So let's get in there. I'm going to launch this bad boy. DraftKings checking my location. Let's see what we're looking like here. There it is. Nathan, appreciate you being here live with us, drafting away. We're going to talk through all these player names. You know how we do it. We'll give our opinions. I'll take advice from the crowd. If you see a player, let me know. I love the interaction. That's why I'm doing these live. I love the interaction with you guys as we're drafting, and hopefully, don't get burned too hard by some of you drafting against me here in these leagues. But here we go. We're on the clock. We are pick 5. We are ready to go. There's Soups. Soups is in there. Sean Hoy, my guy, is in there as well. You guys are back to back. A couple of DFS Army regulars right there. Once again, back to back. You guys are going head to head a lot lately. Here I've got pick 5, so we're gonna see how that goes. Usually, pick 5 is a choice between maybe like a Janty, Bijan, some wide receiver talent, Gibbs. We'll see what we get there at pick 5. But here's what's important. What I want to emphasize as we go through this draft, for me, are some of the names that I like later on that I think will be difference makers. I don't really think I can make that much of a difference in my draft or anybody's draft in rounds 1, 2, or 3. I mean, you're kind of getting good players here, right? This is not where you make or break it. Although sometimes it does work out, but more often than not, you're going to make or break your draft with some picks later on. And I'm going to talk about, as we get to those later rounds, some of the names that, for example, in my rankings are multiple rounds. ahead of where the current ADPs are. I believe those ADPs will normalize to where I believe those players should go, unless I'm missing some news or something else. But we'll pay attention to that. All right. I want to also, with the news of George Pickens being traded to Dallas, as much as I like George Pickens, I also think it's a wonderful positive for DK Metcalf. I even think DK Metcalf, even with like no quarterback, could be just fine. And by no quarterback, I mean like a Mason Rudolph or whoever the hell the Steelers have right now. I think could be fine. But I also think the Steelers are a prideful team that won't go into a season without like a quarterback they think they can win with. So I do think Aaron Rodgers is destined for Pittsburgh. And that would be a great combo with DK Metcalf. I mean, the back shoulder throw, everything that Aaron Rodgers does well, I think DK Metcalf will match really nicely with. So we could get a bargain on him. And speaking of Aaron Rodgers, his former, number one guy, and still his main man, Devontae Adams, on the Rams is looking. I'm just getting a good feeling about it. Stafford has turned even mediocre wide receivers into fantasy gold. Imagine what he could do with a stud. So here we go. Yeah, there it is. Rays, what's up, my man? All right, so we are drafting. We went Barkley, Chase, Bijan. I'm assuming Jefferson here, and then we'll have our choice, and we'll probably go with the standard Jahmyr Gibbs in that spot. Although, let's see what happens here with Elico. But I'm going to assume Jefferson. It looks like he might be auto drafting. That's right, he's not there, so. A little auto draft of Justin Jefferson. There's an interesting phenomenon, by the way, on DraftKings where could I go Ashton Janty ahead of Jahmyr Gibbs? Absolutely, by the way. Should we do it? I don't think I have any shares of Janty, but I'm going Gibbs. YOLO. All right, I don't have Gibbs yet either. So this is my first draft from the 5 spot. So let's see how this goes. But I did want to mention that with all of the running back talent that pops up kind of a little bit later, it's okay to skip the running back early. Derrick Henry goes at 1.6. I'm not in love with that pick at all. But let's see how that one works out. Here, not that I don't like the pick. Derrick Henry's great, but I think that's a little too soon on DraftKings with their full PPR format. Again, if I take a look at my running back ranking, so I just took Gibbs ahead of Janty, and that's how I have them ranked. I have Derrick Henry after Christian McCaffrey, so it would be a few more picks before I got to D-Rock personally. CeeDee Lamb set for a great year. Yeah, little Army Sanguige at the top, Soups. Little Sanguige from the Italian deli. How you doing? Christian McCaffrey moves his way up now to 1.9 in this draft. So, yeah, I mean, the news, I mentioned this, the news, when you start hearing positive talk, there's a reach on Josh Allen. Again, this draft is working out very nicely. Now, here's an interesting little factoid that you might not know about DraftKings, and DraftKings Best Ball in particular. If you don't edit the player rankings, and you don't actually physically draft a player, if you just go into DraftKings, play a best ball tournament, but then you don't show up for it, and it auto drafts the whole team, DraftKings actually negates that team. It will not score. Don't ask me why. I mean, that's their rules, not mine. I didn't make it up. But they don't allow auto-drafted teams to actually win any money in these tournaments. So effectively, what DraftKings is saying is the teams that get auto-drafted, they're like a dead team in your league. Now, I didn't know that because I hadn't edited and I drafted a dead team. I forgot to go to it, whatever. And that happened to me. So, letting you know. Malik Neighbors goes, 2.6. What? AJ Brown, terrible pick there as well. So we have some reaches. I don't like Jonathan Taylor at the turn. There's some serious reaches here. Let's see who's dropping to us. Oh my God, Puka. Oh, Jesus. Bowers and Puka available. If I get Puka here, this is a truly epic start, but I don't think so. There was no way he was letting Puka go. So we'll take Brock Bowers here, who's also dropped a little bit. But man, if we would have gotten Puka, that Alico. Now, who was it ahead of me? Whoever went ahead of me just now, well done. right? So we're going to take Brock Bowers here. And remember what happens, when you take, this is a luxury tight end build, right? So I just took Brock Bowers. I don't love it doing that, but he was just there for the pick, right for the picking. When I take the luxury tight end, I certainly can't take a luxury quarterback. So now we're definitely going to have to wait at the quarterback position to take, some of the backbench guys, the later picks, right? We can't waste another pick on a luxury spot. Number two, it starts me off a little bit behind at the wide receiver group. So we're going to have to just be aware that happened, right? So let's continue to look at the draft board here. Tyreek Hill goes, Chase Brown, of course, Sean Hoy, good pick right there. We got Soups on the clock. Army. You guys are like fighting against the Army guys. Against top picks, DFSA. So Soups on the clock. We got Barncat with a double tap coming up. There's Trey McBride. All right. Again, luxury tight end pick there. He's good, a lot less good than Bowers, but good. And so we'll see how that works out. McBride goes, there goes Bucky Irving. Devon Achane off the board. Let's take a look at what we have going on here. Josh Jacobs still on the board. We've got at wide receiver, T. Higgins, Garrett Wilson, JSN, Devontae Adams. Lots of good wide receivers still on the board for me. So we'll see what I'm going to do. Plenty of the talent's everywhere right now. I can't believe those quarterbacks went that early, though. A couple of luxury quarterback picks by some of the other guys in the draft. I think, they might regret it. We'll see. Josh Jacobs goes auto-drafted. Okay, so again, the person who kind of is sandwiching me is now auto-drafting. That's important to know. All right, so we got T. Higgins, Terry McLaurin. I'm going to go to my rankings, look up wide receiver, see if I can get there fast enough. First, Garrett Wilson. So we're going to go with Garrett Wilson. See, that's how we do it, right? Is the 10 spot here a troll? Let's see who number 10 is. Is the 10 spot a troll? Oh, yeah, that is a troll. Oh, that was the same person who took Allen and Lamar. Yeah, that's a troll. So I don't really know why people would troll one of these drafts. Like, what's in it for you to do something so stupid? But let's see if they keep taking quarterbacks. I don't know what to do in that situation, guys. All right, so here's an interesting question. Let's say the troll here kept taking quarterbacks. He's just like, I'm going to take all the quarterbacks, right? No, he didn't. All right. But imagine he did. Is the move so the draft still counts, and let's say he keeps taking them. At some point, should we start taking quarterbacks early just to sort of react to what that person is doing? I don't know. There goes Daniel. So the quarterbacks are going. They're being scooped up. This is a quarterback-heavy group. Actually, these are pretty much well within their ADPs, so that's fine. Breece Hall off the board. Let's continue to look at the draft board. We got Gibbs, Garrett Wilson, Brock Bowers. Great start. I'm excited for that trio. And let's see how this board can. Oh, Rashee Rice, early pick on Rice right there. Mahomes also, that is a donkey pick. That's beyond early. That's a donkey pick. Mike Evans go. I don't like Mike Evans this year at all. I told you guys about this quite a bit. Joe Mixon. All right, so we are on the clock. Let's take a look at running back. We got Omarion, RJ Harvey. I like Omarion. At wide receiver, we can go with Hunter, DJ Moore. Lots of great wide receivers still on the board, but I need to get my running backs in place. I went with Made Omarion. No? Made Omarion? I tried. Does DK cancel drafts like Underdog does? I don't know. I would assume yes. If something sketchy is going on in the draft, I would imagine they just cancel that one. I know, like I said, they'll cancel an individual player where you cannot advance if you auto draft. So I know it because it happened, like I said, to one of my drafts, and then I looked up the rules, and it was in there, so I read the rules, and yes, it does say that they will do that. If you don't, effectively, it's kind of like their rule on Optimize where you have to make a custom adjustment. If you don't make a single custom adjustment to your team, then they will just cancel. I don't think they should do that. If you're asking me if I agree with it, no, I don't agree with it. Why not? Let me auto draft. What do you care? Right? Let me auto draft DraftKings. What's wrong with that? But nonetheless, we are still live here. And of course, our DFS Army duo, Sean Hoy and Soups, up against each other. Both you guys went with sort of high upside wide receivers, Flowers and Jamo Williams. Big play guys, not a ton of volume, a little more big play. Tyler Warren, this tight end is a crazy pick. Tyler Warren in round 4, that's a mistake. Oh, there goes Hunter, man. I was going to take Hunter too, and I was going to take DJ Moore. So Barncat getting it done. I really like Barncat's killing this draft. Barkley, Achan, London, Hunter, Moore, massive value on Hunter and Moore. Why are you guys letting Hunter and Moore? By the way, Flowers and Jamo instead of Hunter and DJ Moore. What are we doing here? There's DJ Moore. There's Hunter. Jamo's, I got him multiple picks later. So, all right, there goes RJ Harvey. I like that play as well, of course. And we've got the auto drafter. Oh, Elico, I believe, is auto drafting. That's why he got Warren. Let's see if he auto drafts again. If that continues, we'll know that this is, I don't know that he's auto drafting though, without having entered his own rankings. He could have rankings in there. All right, let's take a look here. All right, so wide receiver group. I do need another wide receiver. I'm going to go with Tet McMillan as this one passes along to me. I can go Worthy, but he's sharing touches with a lot of different people. I like Metcalf a little bit as well. Talked about that. Could go DK Metcalf here. You know what? Yeah, let's do it. Let's take a shot. Dice roll. That's me rolling the dice on DK Metcalf that the Steelers will get a quarterback. Roll. Craps. Did the roll. All right, so after the Metcalf pick, Sam Laporta and Warren, what is... Elico is either trolling or I don't know what the fuck is going on there, but maybe it'll work out. I don't know. DK Cortland Sutton goes next. So we got Kamara, David Montgomery. I just don't get the David Montgomery drafter. I don't understand it. Jalen Hurts goes after Mahomes. People worried about the tush push being taken away, I guess, or just how dominant Saquon Barkley is. So Hurts kind of dropping down in this draft to, I don't know, QB 6. Yeah, that's a weird one. But all right. Notice that Rice went a full round ahead of Xavier Worthy in this one. Interesting. Hunter's price still seems too high. I don't know, man. You got to give some credit. I think what's happening with Hunter is it's just that Liam Cohen offense. It's like the credit for Jacksonville's new head coach is massive. The guy is either a genius or got lucky, but I'm kind of leaning that he might be a genius. I really like George Kittle. I like Kittle a lot more than some of these other guys. Remember that George Kittle, just my quick George Kittle thought is just, he's always good anyway. But like he's been at his best when like Deebo Samuel's been hurt for his team, and Deebo Samuel's not there. So maybe George Kittle plays like a certain role in that offense that will benefit now that Deebo is gone. Now, of course, Ricky Pearsall's kind of the same guy, so it might not actually do anything. He might just be the normal George Kittle, which is a wonderful, probably a better guy for best ball even than standard fantasy, because his returns tend to be really up and down. I don't know if it was like that last year, but like, yeah, you have these pop games, the 4, the 20. I mean, you can't really ask for much more than that. You get the ones, but I mean, he was spectacular last season. Honestly, I didn't even remember how good he was, but he was really amazing last year. Now, Isaiah Pacheco, mysterious player. I say it over and over again. Will he be back? Will they kind of slide him back to his usual role? Probably. He's probably a bargain late in drafts. This was a reach on him, but he's probably a bargain late in drafts. We'll see. If he gets his old roll back, then it's definitely a bargain. All right, we're on the clock. We've got Henderson, Debo, Judkins, Jalen Waddle. Waddle's somebody I kind of like a little bit this year. Godwin, if he was healthy, he's so beastly. You know what? Let's go with Godwin and hope that he's healthy this year. We needed the wide receiver talent. We've now got 3 wide receivers. We've got our 2 running backs, a couple of studs at the running back position. And, from there, I can do whatever I want on the next pick. And that's a situation I like to be in. Still plenty of good running backs left and some decent ones late. Wide receiver group still looks very, very, very robust, so to speak. Ellico continues to auto draft away. Okay. Bob, we trust our DFS Army man here. Caleb Johnson, in the Najee Harris role for the Steelers. Okay, fine by me. I love the Harvey pick. I like that you took Harvey ahead of Caleb Johnson. Harvey's great this year. I'm not, Caleb should be fine, but he's given us, I kind of saw Najee Harris in that role and it wasn't great. Soups, you're on the clock. You're on the clock, Soups. What are you doing? Trey Henderson, great. I don't know if you picked it or auto-picked that one, but I'll take it, right? That's a good spot. Interesting to see Caleb Johnson ahead of Judkins. That's kind of a bold take. Just a quick glance at the quarterback position. So sort of the top 6 are gone, the stud group, but lots of good quarterbacks on the board. Baker, Bo Nix rising up the boards here. You start to get to that second level of guys, but there's so many good quarterbacks all the way down to Lawrence. It's no rush. It's no rush for me. Barncat continues to have what I think is a very, very good draft. He's looking like one of the better teams here. Ellico now there and not auto drafting. So, oh no, he just actually pushed the auto draft button. So there we go. All right, we're on the board and let's see. Wide receiver group. It's kind of getting thin here. Tight end don't need. I'm going to go with somebody I've been shitting on all throughout the offseason, DeAndre Swift. And this is just a Bobby Wow play. Bobby Wow tells me, don't be scared of Swift. He could be good this year. So, most of my decisions are made just asking myself, what would Bobby Wow do? That's a big thing for me. And he would have taken Swift there. So I just went with it. So now we have our 3rd running back. So Soups, let's take a look at the decision you were making. Soups, you ended up with, Henderson. Oh, you took them both. There you go. Henderson and Judkins. You got the young duo at running back. Yeah, Jawan Jennings was I think a very good pick for Sean there. And the first of the San Francisco wide receivers, Jawan seems to be the first guy to go. I love the Waddle pick as well. So here we go. Yeah, well done. You got them both. I like the combo. Now that you've got Bucky, you went early wide receiver and you closed it out with a couple of young running backs. Probably not going to get hurt, so I think that's a good draft overall so far, Soups. We are drafting against each other, but, I always say, if it can't be me, I hope it's you. I appreciate you guys being with me live here for these daily drafts, and hopefully they're entertaining. Hopefully we're honing in on our rankings, how we feel about some of these players. This is kind of a weird part of the draft, right? We're getting to that zone where you look at sort of the ADPs. Yeah, still pretty good, but we're going to get beyond like good players here pretty quick. Got about a round or two left. Tight end has not been attacked very heavily in this draft so far. We'll see what happens there. At running back, you're really starting to get beyond the quote unquote good player zone into guys who aren't necessarily starters this year, guys who aren't necessarily definitely going to make an impact, but some that could win you your league if you guess right. So this is sort of the guess zone at running back at this point. Wide receiver, again, it's whittling a little bit. There goes Bo Nix, so another quarterback off the board. At wide receiver, there's some nice looking rookies still on the board. Still some talent here as I scroll my way down, but it is thinning out. And of course, like I said, already at running back, you're kind of beyond the point of what I would call starting running backs. There's not too much left of that. I will grab what I believe to be the next best starter here, and that is Javonte Williams. And a lot of that is because I know that Bob We Must and Soups were eyeballing him. I know you guys were eyeballing him. It wasn't getting back to me. So for my team, let's see where we're at. We've got Gibbs, Omarion, love it. Swift and Javonte, don't love it, but at least there's 4 of them. And we might be able to get these handcuffs a little bit later on. At wide receiver, Garrett Wilson, DK Metcalf, Chris Godwin. We're certainly going to have to add some talent there, and we're yet to take our first quarterback. So with that being said, let's take a look at what's going on at quarterback and what's going on our team. I got Wilson, Metcalf, Godwin, right? Now I can't pair up Godwin. His quarterback is gone. Wilson, yeah, Justin Fields is hanging out. He's still there. Interesting, right? Godwin, I can't get him cuffed, but Metcalf, Aaron Rodgers is not going to be the guy that wins you. He's not winning you shit. That is the auto fade every single day. So I am not going to be looking to draft him. Now let's take a look at the wide receiver group. And actually, I am going to grab Igbuka, one of my favorite rookie wide receivers. Made an even better pick, in my opinion, because I have Godwin. Now, why would I want both of those guys on the same team? Number one, listen, that Tampa offense is awesome. It's explosive. It's something I want to be attached to this year. So I'm fine with it already. Add in the fact that, hey, if Godwin starts slow, Igbuka. If Evans gets hurt, Igbuka. So if Godwin kind of like fails me, I've got Igbuka stepping into that role. They can also play together and be successful together. So I think I have a lot of outs taking Igbuka early like that. Oh, Rays, you're in here, brother? There he is. I didn't even know you were in there. There he is. All right. I didn't even notice you there at the end. So we're going to have to talk about that as well. We got a lot of guys in the draft here in the chat. So I didn't even notice that. I got to get an Army avatar on there so I know who you are, Rays, in the draft itself. So let's talk about your draft so far. Here, he's got Nico Collins and Jonathan Taylor, double tap, round 1. Cook, high upside. Joe Burrow, appropriate where he went, although, man, to take him ahead of Jaden Daniels is ballsy. Chuba, Chalky Chuba, Addison. I mean, some of your classic names. Marvin Mims Jr., you got my guy. I like that. These drafts are getting harder and harder when I'm verbalizing my personal favorite sort of late pick sleepers that I can get when I'm not drafting on stream multiple rounds later, but on these streams, they're going a few rounds earlier. So that does kind of interestingly affect how things look. But I love Marvin Mims. You guys know why. We've talked about it 100 times already. The kid was coming on strong late in the season. He's a big play guy. The offense is getting better and better. Give me these 2 games here alone. That was enough to say, hey, pay attention to him, right? Another 22-pointer in there, and you're getting him so late in the draft that you're giving up almost nothing to get him. Josh Downs, another guy I like a lot. Charbonnet, really just a handcuff at this point. So you're getting, some people here in this draft just taking handcuff type players. We got starters still available in some spots. So we'll pay attention to that as well. Now, I still lack for quarterback talent on the roster. Let's see oh, there goes Trevor Lawrence. That's a jump of ADP. That's an ADP jump right there for Princess. What's up, Princess? So well done. I like the balls of the play. I'm going to pair up Justin Fields with his wide receiver, Garrett Wilson. Jets, baby. Look at the sign. That's what we do. VIP style. So we are now, and we have a lot of now we have a lot of drafts to analyze. So Ray, since you're in here as well, Sean, Soups, Ray, we're going to analyze all these drafts at the very end. So pick wisely. Choose wisely. So you don't get ridiculed at the end of this. Who am I to ridicule? I'm not ridiculing anybody, but I am. But I'm not saying it's deserved. I'm just going to do it. All right. So coming back around, let's take a look at our squad here. We've got kind of a weak quarterback in Justin Fields. Highs and lows with that guy. Nice little group at running back with Swift and Javonte. At wide receiver, Garrett Wilson, Metcalf, Godwin. Don't have to worry too much about tight end. Continue to not have to worry too much there. Oh, we're on the clock again. So, again, we're a little bit weak at... Oh, did he take blue? Wow. It's kind of a dick move. I'm going to go with Trey Harris, another young wide receiver, to pair up. Actually, I'm not pairing him up with anything. To pair up with Omari and Hampton. So we've got the WR2 in there. It looks like, I guess, one of you guys stole blue. Is that what you did? Yeah. Freaking Sean Hoy. Bob, we must. I was gonna take blue. You knew I was gonna take blue. Took him away from me. Makes it tougher. One of the challenges, it's like I need these guys to come back around to me. Maybe I should have taken him ahead of the run there. But normally I'm going to take blue to pair up with Javonte Williams so that we can lock down that Dallas backfield. So, something to keep in mind. Some people have different philosophies, or people have different philosophies when it comes to if you should draft handcuffs versus if you should just avoid handcuffs and say, hey, if my main guy goes down, I don't even care about this. I don't even care about this team anymore, right? It's toast. I'm not of that mind. I think it's not a bad play to take some handcuffs in best ball. Make sure that you have player scoring, especially if your other players are kind of kicking ass and you just have one spot that's getting you a 0 because of a bunch of injuries. Well, having that handcuff in there helps. And a lot of times these handcuff players also have some standalone or a lot of standalone week-to-week value. So I don't mind it. I do like the idea of taking handcuffs and locking them down. All right, so draft moves on. We are in round 12. There goes Hollywood Brown. Good pick. Dalton Kincaid. Couple of tight ends coming off the board. Little tight end run happened here in round 11, and it kind of continues. This is a point where, as you look at the draft board, we're seeing fewer and fewer position players that are guaranteed kind of normal playing time. Still a few here at the wide receiver position, although kind of sketchy type of players. Rashid Shaheed, I loved him when, New Orleans had quarterbacks, but, they don't now, so it's a little sketchier. Quentin Johnston, will he lose touches to Trey, whatever the hell his name is, Trey Harris? I don't know. A couple of mysteries there. We're back on the clock. I still need more talent at the quarterback position. Should I take it now? Can I wait? Let's go with Tootin here. Take the upside guy. I'm hearing a lot of good buzz about him, but he's not guaranteed any playing time. The other name that we could take a look at running back, if it comes back around, there's certainly other names that we can look at there. Wide receiver group, though, still players that will contribute. Plenty of tight ends still on the board that have, week to week going to be on the field value. So, there's still lots of draft left. And a lot of times the drafts are going to be won in these later rounds, guys. So we'll focus in here and see what we can see. I do need another quarterback as well. Starting with mid quarterback play, starting with kind of nothing good means that I kind of have to hammer a few more quarterbacks as this draft goes on. I kind of want to pair somebody up that I have some exposure to. Let's go with Stafford. Stafford has been an unexciting quarterback for the last few years, but with Devontae Adams and Puka now on that team, I think he has the chance to put up some of those 20-plus point scores. So while I don't think Stafford is, he's in that 30-plus point part of his career, he just got the arm. He could really get it done. He just doesn't do anything with the legs to help you. If I want a legs guy, an Anthony Richardson is a dice roll later on in this draft. But you can see here, the quarterback group is starting to whittle down. And with my kind of mid start of Fields and Stafford, I'm going to want a third one here, putting up points if I can get him. So that's going to be something to take a look at. If you're talking about J.J. McCarthy, the Vikings starting quarterback, I think he is a mysterious guy that probably is not worth. He's not somebody I want to rely on with my QB1 pick by any stretch. He's effectively, from what I understand, a pocket passer, all arm, and rookie all arm. That's a sketchy pick. Here we go. Ray's on the clock. And guys, if you don't know Ray won the little puppy last season on Underdog, 200K winner, a maniacal drafter. He's been on the show last week. Ray is the man, and he is in this draft with us. We're going to take a look at Ray's draft board here and kind of analyze it at the very end. It goes with Freiermuth and Quentin Johnston. Again, Johnston, a wide range of outcomes, but at this point in the draft, totally worth a shot. Ray Davis. So again, we're seeing players coming off the board now that are effectively backup players, not necessarily names that are going to be contributing to some of these teams on a week-to-week basis. Let's take a look at our Army guys. Everybody's got two quarterbacks, so everybody's kind of in the same boat there. Most of the quarterbacks that are viable have been disappearing here. Let's take a look at what's available on the board. Still some QB action, although it's getting very thin. Running back group, we're in the backup zone for running backs. Wide receiver group, still some. Oh, there goes Wandale. That was going to be my guy. So still some talent there, but I think we got to get another quarterback off the board here before I do anything else. Richardson has that upside with the legs. Sam Darnold is the yeoman-like. I'm going to go upside with Anthony Richardson here. Sean Hoy, Bob, we must. I want to hear from you after the draft if you would have taken Richardson had I left him for you there. As Sean goes with Sam Darnold right after the Richardson pick, so I wonder, right? Were you going to take Richardson there? Wandale is my guy. So this is one of the first drafts I haven't gotten Wandale Robinson. Not happy about it, but that will happen on occasion. You don't get your guys. I love Wandale. Clearly, he's going to continue to move up in these drafts because the guy is a fucking beast. Why are you guys not drafting him sooner? I genuinely don't get it. I don't know what people are thinking with that. Now, as I take a look at the wide receiver group, Wandale is literally the last guy that has any sort of life in him that goes off the board. I think it's probably a little too long, but the rest of these guys all seem like not going to play very much, right? So I take a look at the running back group. There's not too many. Viable ones left. There are plenty of viable tight ends that are still going to play regularly. At some point, I will need to get some more tight end action going on my team, as we only have one. We have a really good one, but we only have one so far. And I'm sitting on, at this point, 3 quarterbacks. Okay, there, 5 running backs. So we are light at wide receiver and tight end. How many picks left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 picks left. And we're kind of light at wide receiver and tight end. Let's take a look one more time at the QB group. Running back, wide receiver. Is there anybody here of any interest? Not really. So you know what? Might as well go with the Jets tight end, Mason Taylor. Pair him up with Fields. We got Fields, Taylor, and Garrett Wilson all on the same team. I like that combo because to me, I think that's who, if Fields is having a monster game, it's those two guys that should benefit the most. So if Fields is helping us win this tournament on this squad, then it would be those two guys that are probably getting it done alongside of him. Running back group, there's still a couple of, I would call them premium handcuffs floating around, which is cool. So still some goodness at the there. Keenan Allen still hasn't found a home. Jalen Noel with no Tank Dell this year still doesn't really project to do a whole lot. Hate to say it. And again, this wide receiver remaining group is very uninspired. And this is important to understand. A couple of names in here that might get some action later on. But for the most part, it's important to understand how the board sets up. So understanding this can give us a little bit of an edge earlier in how we draft our teams, right? So as we get to, let's take a look at what round this is. As we get to round, the very later rounds, this is sort of beyond, this is Ray, this is an uncomfortable zone for you, for my underdog people. Round 16, we're kind of getting past towards the end of the draft. You can see the wide receiver group is pretty toast. Like, these are guys that are probably not going to help us win. Running backs, we're just dealing with, again, what I would call much more high-end handcuffs more than anything else. Tight ends still have some good ones floating around. So tight end has not completely toasted itself. I'm actually going to do something a little bit crazy here. No, not yet. It's too soon. Roschon Johnson. Going to handcuff the Chicago running back situation and hope that I get it right. So I have Swift on the team. Now I've got Roschon Johnson. It's another handcuff. I wasn't able to handcuff my other guys. So I just grabbed Roschon there. And now I'm feeling pretty good that we have that Chicago running back spot locked down. That gives me a name that is likely to be there. Scoring for me, not giving me zeros, right? And that's what I'm hoping for from a lot of these later picks. Just give me anybody that's not giving me zeros, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. Just kind of going to take a look at some of these other names that are floating around right now. You've got some sort of what I'd call lunch pail guys still on the board. We'll have to see how that goes. I do see a wide receiver that I like a little bit. And yeah, here he is. Deontay Johnson. I'm going to take my shot with Deontay. Do I love it? No. But who the hell else who does Cleveland have catching passes? Cleveland's got nothing going on there. Deontay signed there. I don't know what happened with him last year, but before he had like a mental breakdown, Deontay Johnson was a great asset on your team. Like when he was playing for the Panthers last year, I was playing him in DFS. He was good. And then he just fell off a cliff. Like, what happened? So I don't know what happened. Attitude? Diva? I don't know. Either way, worth a shot. So, guys, look how thin we have gotten at this point. Just across the board, right? If we take a look at the quarterback position, still have Dart floating around. Aaron Rodgers might play. Danny Jones probably going to get some backup time. Flacco. So a lot of backup type quarterback action floating around. Running back group, there's just really nothing left here. Will Shipley, backup guy. Nothing that stands out here. Nothing at all. Nobody that's helping us win tournaments. Wide receiver group, couple names here that will be on the field. You got Wicks, Calvin Austin, Coker. These guys will probably be on the field a little bit. Tolbert probably get on the field a little bit. Probably not helping us win anything, but at least getting on the field. Tight end group, Turd Ferguson not playing. Juwan Johnson will be out there. He'll be on the field a little bit. Rays goes with Jatavian Sanders. What'd you do, Ray? Bashard Smith. Okay. 7th round rookie Bashard Smith, not much of a pass catcher. You know? I don't know if I love it, but it's a name. It's a body. You never know. Jatavian Sanders, fine. That I don't mind. All right. There goes Danny Dimes. Amazing to see Danny Dimes constantly get drafted. I really thought he was going to be this guy that you could take at the very end of the draft and you'll be the only team that has him. But I am seeing that he's getting drafted every single time, which is in some ways unfortunate. 6th-round running back, Will Shipley. I've heard some buzz about him, I guess, as the backup to possibly, he's not really truly a backup, but the possible backup to Saquon. So we'll see what happens there. I could use another tight end here. And looking through the group, I'm actually going to go a little off the beaten path here with Theo Johnson, who was coming on pretty strong last year on the Giants. So I mean, he had a couple good games. 6. Look at all these targets for Theo. All those targets. Everybody forgot about Theo. I say, why not? You say jump. I say, how high? No. I say, why not? Take a shot on Theo. Jawan Johnson's still there. Also a guy who will be on the field. He'll get some snaps. So why not? See how the draft board's going. So we took Theo. Random backups coming off the board at that point. Dontavian Wicks came off before my pick. Cole Kmet, a Bobby Wow special right there, saying, I don't care. Double tight ends in Chicago. That can make it work. Cole Kmet's another name. I didn't expect anybody to take him at all, ever. Pat Bryant. Who mentioned Pat Bryant? That's been Pat Bryant's been discussed here on this podcast as well. I can't remember which one of the guests, but there we go. Backup quarterback action. If Milroe gets in there, look out. Sean Hoy, Zach Moss. That's gross. Raheem Mostert, not even on a roster. 33 years old. That guy's just throwing darts at this point. Just throwing darts. He doesn't give a shit. You know what? Speaking of throwing darts, I'm taking my dart throw. That's right. What if you think the Giants are gonna be good and they're just gonna play Russell Wilson? No, they're gonna play Dart. Dart coming on strong, late year, leading this squad to a tournament championship. How about that? Catch me outside if you don't like it. What's up? Amari Cooper, yeah. This is just the grasping at straws part at this point. Jaleel McLaughlin, Mostert not on a team, or he is on a team. Is he? He's on the rate. Get out of here. Moss is terrible. Can never get it done. Knox, just a waste of a pick there. Yeah, Jawan Johnson was the next best guy, in my opinion, on the board. At this point, I just want anybody who has any kind of shot. Yeah. There's no doubt. By the way, I'm wildly confident that the Giants will play Dart this year, because if they don't, the coach is going to get fired. So, the coach is they're going to be bad, and the coach is going to need to deliver hope. And that's the only way you're going to get hope delivered. Just scrolling down, see if there's anybody hiding down here that I've overlooked in all of my analyses. Not really seeing too much of that. Holman Wilson is somebody I've mentioned before that could be interesting this year. Devon Valley, if we want to get crazy late. Mike Williams could be, what if he has, a revival of his career? Could happen. It's not out of the realm of stuff that could happen. Mike Williams. Well, I'm open. Fall. So we'll see about that. Not loving what's left at the tight end position here at all. I think this is pretty much dead. you'll need an injury for Ferguson to be a part of anything. The rest of these guys really uninspired. Quarterbacks, you want to take a shot on Flacco here, guys. You could take a shot. He could start for Cleveland. Who knows? Shador, does he get the start? You want to take a chance? Running back group, this is no bueno. Everybody good. All their backups already gone. Ignore, right? Wide receiver group, who's this guy? 4th round wide receiver, not good. Tesla's a 3rd round guy in Detroit. It's great offense. I don't mind it. With nothing else going on, might as well just grab a couple of wide receivers that have some mild upside. This guy was a 3rd rounder. You know who else? I think that I feel like Amon-Ra was a 3rd or 4th rounder. So you never know. They don't really have a WR3 in Detroit that's commanding playing time. They have kind of a bunch of ne'er-do-wells. See if there's anyone else that stands out, but not going to be. So let's go Tesla. Let's take a look at our team makeup. And then at the end, we'll do a little analysis of this draft as a whole. All right, here we go. We're going to stay. Raise the crazy Burrow stack. Let's see what happens. All right, let's take a look at everybody's draft, and we're going to analyze. And I'll start with you, Ray. Since you're here, you went off the rails. Should have took Kmet over Smith. I don't know about that. Well, let's take a look, Ray. All right, so the draft starts out really well for Rays, and we'll get to all of them. Nico Collins, Jonathan Taylor. Nico, that's where he's supposed to go pretty much. Got a little drop there because this bonehead took Josh Allen and Lamar in his double tap. This guy has no chance. Arnage is not going to win this. That much I can tell you right now. But Rays with Collins and Jonathan Taylor double tap, right? James Cook, high upside. Love him in best ball running back, followed by Burrow. Okay. Now, Burrow being the WR1, not really seeing too much correlation there. But Chuba, at this point, the starting running back for Carolina, that's fine. Addison coming on strong. Got Pollard, one of your guys, Ricky Pearsall. So the wide receiver group is a little uninspired here, with the top 3 picks being Collins, Addison, and Pearsall. So hopefully, you made up for that a little bit later on. Goff, not really connected to anybody on this team either, from what I can tell. It's not a lot of correlation going on here at all, Rays. Not a lot of correlation, but let's see if that picks up later on. Marvin Mims, I love that pick. Bryce Young, fine. You got a nice trio of quarterbacks. Maybe a little too soon on Bryce Young. I don't know. I might have wanted to get a little more positional action going there. Rashad White, nobody I'm super high on this year per se. Oh, this is where it went off. I'm assuming Yoshi was just hey, at least it's somebody to go with. At least it's somebody to go with my quarterback. So you got Yoshi with Burrow there, but that is a pretty soft correlation. Quentin Johnston, big upside possibly. And again, a little off the rails here. Jermaine Burton. So you did get, here we go. We got the WR3 possibly for the Bengals tied down with Yoshi and Burton. Somebody gets hurt. These guys could both be on the field. T. Higgins gets hurt a lot, so you never know. Chigakonkwo, Jatavian, Freiermuth, kind of a soft trio of tight ends as well, but at least there's 3 of them. So, overall pretty good. Really strong running back group. Decent but large wide receiver group, and great QBs, a little soft at tight end. So we'll see how that one goes for you. Let's shift over to my draft. We start out with Jahmyr Gibbs, the standard pick, and Brock Bowers drops to us late here, which gives us, I would say, a little bit of a gift of sort of a super stud tight end. that should really be going at the end of round 1 down here. This Brock Bowers gives you a weekly edge at the tight end position. This guy's scores last year were unreal. His average fantasy points, 16, monstrous for a tight end. But, I mean, look how many games he had with 33, 34. Just these monster games, 23 would pop. And all the targets and all those receptions, 16 targets, 14 targets, 10 targets. The quarterback play has improved in Las Vegas compared to last year. I think he will get better. I think he will be improved. Yeah, Bryce Sanders, Chuba. You take Sanders at the end? Oh, Jatavian. Yeah, little piece of that Panthers team. Nothing wrong with that. So with my draft, we get the value on Bowers, come back around, and I grabbed Garrett Wilson in the 3rd round. The other names that were there, I was really considering JSN and T. Higgins as the only other possibilities with that pick. The reason I went with Wilson is because he is, the focal point of his offense. I think he's a very good player. I think this was a 1st round guy last year, and I think he can get back to it. So I think he's a supreme talent, and they just have nothing else going on. A lot of these other wide receivers have other options. Like with McLaurin, now he's competing with Debo, right? T. Higgins is the number 2. Devontae Smith is the number 2. JSN looks really good there as well. And like I said, I was considering him as well, but I went with Garrett Wilson this time, and I was able to eventually pair him up with this quarterback, which I figured I would be able to do. Next round, we went Omarion Hampton, young running back on a team that will focus the run all season long. People are worried about Najee Harris. I'm not worried about it. What I know is the Chargers want to run the football. They didn't have the horses for it last year, but they still kept going to it. So now I think with the talent, they're just going to really be a heavy running team. DK Metcalf, dice roll. Aaron Rodgers needs to go to Pittsburgh, but if he does, this becomes an elite pick in round 5. Chris Godwin, just banking on some health here, but I've got Igbuka here just to sort of lock down a lot of the scoring from one of the best offensive teams in the league, the Bucs. So I'll take that. Double tap Swift and Javonte Williams here. Both of these guys were names that I would love to be handcuffing. Of course, I got snaked on my Javonte Williams handcuff of blue, but I did get Roschon Johnson to back up Swift. Why do I want to handcuff those guys and not these guys? Because these guys are sketchy later picks, and I just want to make sure I have running back scoring for me from those teams, whereas these guys are straight studs. If Gibbs just gets hurt and is out, I'm probably not winning anything because I lost my 1st round pick. So that's sort of the difference in my mindset for those guys. First quarterback off the board for me, Justin Fields. Yeah, no, you weren't getting him, Sue. You weren't getting him. Now, first quarterback off the field for me was Justin Fields. Paired him up with Garrett Wilson and his tight end later on, Taylor. I like Fields. He gets it done with his legs. He's a guy that I like. Trey Harris, the rookie wide receiver from the Chargers. Just, I don't know if I can have this one back. Let's see who went after this. All right, I wanted to take blue. Sean, you threw me for a loop there. The next few guys, we had a little run on tight end go. Hollywood Brown, yeah, I could have gone that way with that pick. I do like Hollywood probably better than Trey Harris. Let me look at my rankings where I have these guys. I would say that I would have Hollywood ahead of Trey. I don't even know. Yeah, there he is. Hollywood. No, I don't. So, all right. So I kind of went with, that I was true to my rankings, and that's good to see. I like that. I want to be true to them without having to look at them. So, yeah, I did go with Trey ahead of Hollywood Brown, and it looks like that's how I have them ranked. Get the upside with Bajal Tootin, with the Jaguars coaching staff kind of saying we're not in love with ETN, so we'll see how that goes. Double tap QBs right there because we're kind of soft at QB. We take another one late. We have 4 QBs on this team. Get our second tight end, our third tight end, a little upside with Deontay, a handcuff with Roschon, and, of course, a dart throw with Dart and Tesla at the very end. Ray, I had Sizlowski on the show here from RotoWire, and he was a big advocate for Fields. He has him very high compared to everybody else. I'm not sure if I agree with that. I think Fields is who he is. I think we'll get some big games out of him, but not the monster games that, I think a running QB should be capable of. Quick look at Soups and Bob. We must here. Bob gets, I think, a really good start. Bijan, Chase Brown, can't go wrong. Couple of Studley wide receivers in Harrison and Zay Fleazy. RJ Harvey, I love this spot. I don't like the Caleb pick there. I think there were better players at running back and just in general in that spot that I probably would have went with or just waited. I would have preferred Henderson. I would have preferred Judkins. So a lot of players I probably prefer over Caleb, who is definitely splitting with Warren, right? Continues on though. Juwan Jennings, great. I think he should wind up being the WR1 based on what we saw last year. You never know with San Francisco, but kind of seems like that. But it is a crowded group with Ayuk and Pearsall, and it's hard to tell. And of course, the first QB you took is Kyler Murray, and I like that he's paired up with Marvin Harrison right there. So a little bit of correlation. Cooper Kupp, I haven't taken this offseason. I don't know. I don't trust him. But Darnell Mooney, I like with that pick. Of course, I love Jaden Blue. He has a lot of upside. You got Penix. Gesicki snaked him from Ray. Brutal. That's an early take on Gesicki. I don't mind it. Is it early? Actually, I think you belong there. Cade Otton. So the tight end group, that was your first tight end, and I think it's a good one. I don't mind Gesicki at tight end. I think your tight end group as a trio, though, is going to be a little bit soft, and so that's something you're going to have to make up for. High-end backup here in Braylon Allen, and then, of course, the rest of them. So good job in Bob We Must. Be careful with that sort of, I would say, semi-soft tight end group, and I don't think I'm in love with the quarterbacks either, but I can deal with them. I think they're fine. I think the softness will come with that tight end trio. Yeah, I thought the McBride pick was a little early. Soups, let's take a look at your draft. So, if you guys join me for these drafts Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon, and you let me know that you're in here, we'll do a little analysis of your draft at the end. And that's what we're doing now. So I appreciate you guys being here. We're going to have so many freaking draft. I hope that one of the daily draft crew takes this thing down. I really do. The whole thing. So we'll do a recap at the end of the season. We'll see what happens, right? Soups, you start with Chase. And then I don't know about if I love the McBride pick here. There were some other really good names still available, but you kind of made up for it with Bucky on the other side. I probably would have gone personally. I'd probably either go in London Bucky or Achane Bucky. I don't think like anybody fell here. I just think McBride's got he's got the target share. So I don't know. I guess it's good too. Look at all these targets. This guy's super consistent. With McBride in there, similar to Bowers, no matter what you did for the rest of the draft at tight end, it didn't matter. Like, you got a really good one that's going to score most weeks. Bucky Irving, first running back you took. This was where I didn't love some of the picks here. Jamo Williams, for example, ahead of DJ Moore. I don't like that at all. I think DJ Moore is way better of a pick than Williams. I think he's a better pick than Flowers as well. So do with that what you will. I actually think I would take DJ Moore over a lot of these names, probably even over Mike Evans. So, again, do with that what you will. Let Hunter go as well. I don't know if I love that, but I do kind of like Ridley's upside this season, right? I do kind of like that. Again, in this spot, though, with just one running back, with RJ Harvey sitting there, I think I probably would have went Harvey and just locked down kind of a 3-down back and figured out wide receiver maybe a little later, right? Yeah. Ray is out on McBride. Is this his ADP? Is he always going towards the end of round 2? I mean, I've seen him go there, but I don't really like it that much. I think if you're going to spend on a luxury tight end being a luxury position, or even the quarterbacks early, man, if you miss, you are really fucked. So, can I get Trey McBride production out of 3 sort of like Evan Ingram, David Njoku style, later tight end picks. Probably, maybe. Let's continue though. Soups. Henderson and Judkins here. That double tap looks really good. Some youth at the running back. I think Judkins went a little later than maybe where he could have. I think he got a little lucky here with Caleb going before you. You took Henderson over Meyer. This was a must-get running back situation where you only had one at this point. So I think you did well to round out the running back group here. Higgins, solid. I think he's somebody who's being underdrafted relative to that upside. And even better, you pair up Higgins with CJ Streezies. Fine by me. So that's your first quarterback, CJ Stroud, off the board. Again, double down with Kirk. So you got Stroud, Higgins, Kirk. Nice little correlation going over there. Add another tight end because we didn't get. Actually, I don't even think Njoku, I don't like it. Right? I think you could have done something different there. Didn't need him. Already have a stud tight end. But Njoku has some upside. If Flacco plays, Njoku might be just as good as Trey McBride. Like, that's how insane Flacco can be. And I'm actually looking here. There wasn't a whole lot. There's not a whole lot left on the board. Cam Ward, Spears, Dowdle, couple backup running backs down the list. Tennessee. So, this is a forced correlative play with Tennessee. I'm assuming you have another Tennessee. Ridley. So you got Ridley. Listen, this is well thought through. I'm going to give you credit. You got Ward, Ridley, and Lockett. Lock down some of that Tennessee. Some of that Tennessee team. Yeah, Soup is thinking this through. Bobby Wow special here with Pat Bryant. Backup running back, Giddens, whatever. Milrow, risky at the end. But overall, Soups, what I love about your draft is it's highly correlated. You're clearly thinking about the players on your team, the quarterback, and kind of forcing those correlative groups together. So I think that's going to serve you well, not just in this draft, but as you're doing these best ball drafts. I think that's a winning approach to doing some of these. So well done, Soups. Well done. In Bob We Must. Ray, of course, you're crushing it as usual. So well done as well. I'm pretty happy with this draft for myself. I got some players that I don't really have exposure to so far. So I like that. I like a little bit of diversification, but all on names that I like a lot. So cool stuff. Guys, a couple of reminders here. I am in process of, I started with my rankings. I'm going to be adding notes, and these will be adjusting as the offseason goes on. So, of course, if you want to just check out my rankings for best ball, you could just go to dfsarmy.com, click on the season-long fantasy tab, or you could find that down here, NFL season-long, and you get all my rankings for best ball. They're downloadable for DraftKings and Underdog if you want to upload them to the system. But keep in mind, I adjust those in real time regularly as news comes out. So what's there today might be slightly different next week. So do with that what you will, but you can use that as a guide to see effectively, which players I'm taking ahead of ADP, which ones are going I'm waiting on, but I love anyway. I have some players that I like to wait on, but it doesn't mean that I'm just trying to get him still. I love the player, but I'm trying to get him at ADP. So keep that in mind as you're looking at these. And guys, remember, hit that like button if you're enjoying these breakdowns. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I'm going live 3 times a week at noon with these drafts. We're bringing in guests. Most of the time, we're picking people's brains, sharp best ball players, we'll call them sharp fantasy football minds. We'll be picking those brains all throughout the offseason, all through the summer. Every day till we get to 150 lineups. So I'm going to have to draft more than one a day from getting to 150, but we're going to do our best to get as many of these drafts in as possible. I got to get some slow drafts going, but that will happen later in the season. Just for my personal game, I want to get a lot of these lineups in. So hope you enjoyed it. And if you do enjoy this content, make sure to subscribe to the DFS Army YouTube channel. It's a free subscription. We'll be notified when we go live on this. We've got lots of other fantasy football content coming out. And, of course, DFS content every day. We've got MLB going, MMA going. Crushed MMA on the bets this weekend. By the way, congratulations to my guy, Jack Della Madonna, new champion. Loves it. Valentina Shevchenko maintains the championship. So if you were in the DFS Army Discord, you knew to bet those spots, underdog plays, and go load up on them in DFS. It worked out very nicely for those people as well. If you want to check out DFS Army and all we have to offer, promo code GEEK gets you 10% off any of the subscriptions that we sell. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Take care.